the Tivage, i.e., Travaga, and sympathized fully with the weal and woe of the citizens. Like the Mauryan monarchs, the Satavahana kings looked after both the material and spiritual welfare of the plea. Though the Satavahana rulers assumed matronymic prefixes, the succession to the throne was hereditary in the male line. An important and original feature of the Satavahana administration was the association of queens in public life. Queen Nayanika acted as regent on behalf of her son Vedasri. Queen Balasri, mother of Gautami Putra Satakarani, jointly issued orders to a district officer to institute a charitable endowment. The king was assisted by a council of ministers whose number is not known. The scanty information in the inscriptions when pieced together indicate the existence of the central services. It consisted of such royal officers as the Amatyas who acted as the governors of the Aharas, the Rajamatyas who attended on the king and were members of the advisory body, a Mahamatra who was entrusted with the execution of a special task, the Bandagarika or the superintendent of the stores, the Heranika or the treasurer, the Mahasenapati or the commander of the army, the Lekaka or the secretary of state who drafted the king's documents, and the Nabadakaras who were charged with task of registering the documents. The appointment of the Mahasenapati dates from the time of Gautamiputra Satakarani and his son. Sometimes, the Mahasenapati also acted as governor. The existence of these officials and the detailed procedure that was followed in respect of the registration of official documents go to show that the Satavahanas had established a sound system of administration. They must have maintained all essential departments such as those of police, finance, justice, army, commissariat, agriculture, industries, etc., although contemporary inscriptions do not actually refer to any of these. The empire was divided into various divisions such as Aharas like Soparahara, Govardhanahara, Manalahara, Satavanahara, etc. The Aharas correspond to the Rashtra of the Pallava records. They were in charge of offices called Amicus, Amatyas, or governors. The Aharas were further divided into Nigamas, towns, and Gamas or Gramas, villages. We do not get adequate information regarding their administration in the inscription. The villages were in the charge of traditional headmen who are referred to as Gramanas in Gathasaptasati. They looked after the administration of 5 villages and sometimes 10 villages. The official in charge of the administration of the towns and villages enjoyed complete autonomy. The Nigama had an assembly called Nigamasabha which acted as the mouthpiece of the citizens. The Satavahana feudatories were of 3 grades. The highest among them was called Raja. He occupied more or less the same position as that of the king. He also issued coins in his own name. Next to them in status were the Mahabhojas and the Maharathis. This was confined to a few families of the eastern Deccan who held office on a hereditary basis. They enjoyed a rank and power much higher than the Amatyas. The titles were held to be such a patent of nobility that the wives regularly took the titles of their husbands. This becomes evident from the Kal and Kuda records. The Maharathas looked after local administration of the country above the western Ghats, while the Mahabhojas looked after northern Konkan. They performed different kinds of duties. Some exercised power over the locality under their charge and others looked after the administration at the center. Thus the Satavahanas were successful in establishing a sound system of administration which ensured a long period of peace in the country, which in turn gave a tremendous impetus of cultural progress that the period witnessed. Social and economic conditions. The Satavahana rulers supported Vedic religion and claimed to have restored Varnasramadharma. The division of the society into 4 main castes had come to stay, and the ascendancy of the Brahmanas over other castes had been established. This period also saw the birth of many subcastes based on professions. We have reference to such subcastes as Golikas, shepherds, Halakas, cultivators, settis, merchants, Gadikas, druggists, Vardikas, carpenters, Kolakas, weavers, Tilipasakas, oil pressers, Kamaras, blacksmiths, etc. The structure of the Satavahana society was shaken to its very foundations due to the advent of the Buddhists and the incursions of Saka Pallavas. The foreigners embraced Buddhism, assumed such Indian names as Dharmadeva, Vrishabhadatta, Angivama, etc., and the total assimilation with the local people was complete.